We begin with an update regarding the more than 230 Canadians aboard the Grand Princess cruise liner. The ship is going to be docked off the coast of California after an outbreak of COVID-19. The federal government says it has secured a plane to bring them home. In a statement, Foreign Affairs Minister Francois-Philippe Champagne says the plane will bring passengers from San Francisco to Canadian Forces Base Trenton, after which they will be assessed and undergo a 14-day quarantine. Passengers will be screened for symptoms before boarding the plane, and if they exhibit symptoms, they will not be permitted to board. CBC's Aaron Collins has been covering this story for us, and he has more from Oakland, California.
It's the news that the more than 3,500 people on board the Grand Princess have been waiting for since Wednesday. They'll begin docking here at the Port of Oakland tomorrow. But that doesn't mean everyone will be getting off the ship right away. Officials with the Princess Cruise Line say that anyone on board who is ill or in need of medical attention will be the first to disembark. That group could include some of the 21 people on board who have tested positive for the COVID-19 virus. They'll be treated in medical facilities here in California. And once those passengers have been taken off, the long process of getting the thousands of remaining people off the ship will begin. A time-consuming job, as each and every person will need to be tested for the virus.
This site allows us a number of advantages. Number one, the ability to secure the site. This site is currently being secured, it's being fenced, and it's being secured by federal personnel.
American passengers will go to military bases where they will be quarantined. As for the more than 230 Canadians on board the Princess, they'll be flown to Trenton, Ontario, where they will also be quarantined. It's thought that getting everyone on board off the ship could take days, and officials are saying that for now, anyone should think twice before taking a cruise.
So it's our responsibility to protect the vulnerable. When I say protect, I mean right now, not wait until things get worse. Say no large crowds, no long trips, and above all, don't get on a cruise ship.
It's unclear just what time tomorrow this massive operation to disembark all the passengers from the Princess will begin. So while there is a plan for the passengers on the Grand Princess to disembark here in the Port of Oakland, it's a different story for the more than 1,000 crew members on board. They will stay where they are, quarantined on the ship, either here in port or back out at sea. Aaron Collins, CBC News, Oakland.
Canadian passenger Ian Graylish is currently on board Grand Princess. He's been on the ship for more than 2 weeks. I asked him his reaction to the news he may soon be getting off the ship.
Can't say I'm really surprised about it. It's not the way I would have wished it to end up. Now, I thought in our case, where nobody around me is showing any symptoms, that we would be able to go into a home quarantine perhaps when we returned home. I'm really thankful the Canadian government is getting us out of here, because the things we've been hearing from the U.S. government haven't been very comforting.
What do you mean by that?
At the same time, I realize that members of the administration saying that they want the ship to land, people thinking it's just like the flu. Like, there's a lot of information out there that's not right, and it really didn't make us feel, that we'd be taken care of when we arrived. And the initial instructions we had from the captain last night was that there's going to be, we were going to get in today, and that the sick and ill would be off first, which definitely made sense, and then be followed by the California residents, which is over 900, and then the other Americans, which is 1,100, and they would all be to American locations and be taken care of. And that left all of us kind of hanging. And that's 230, as you mentioned, Canadians, 122 British, 4 Australians, and a smattering of other people. And it really, for the last almost 24 hours, we've been wondering, what the heck is going on for us. And it is somewhat comforting that the government is intervening, and I appreciate it. And they have contacted us through this ordeal by email. So that's something that I do appreciate. But at the same time, the idea of going to Trenton for 14 days, which I'm sure it's a nice place, but it's not something I planned on doing after being away for a couple of weeks already. So do you know yet if you leave the boat tomorrow and you get on that plane immediately? Well, again, those are things in the government release that I did see online. They didn't mention. And the way they worded it when they first said we were arriving in Oakland was it would take several days to get the people off. And again, they were concentrating on the ill, the Californians, and the other Americans first. So whether or not we move ahead in that process or they hold us back until the others are done, I don't know.
And
we have not been told.
is there anything that's concerning you now?
The experience has not been that onerous. Like, we're very fortunate. We've got a balcony cabin, so we do have fresh air, even though most of the time it's been pretty cool. But at the same time, it has been, they've been taking care of us. We've had 3 meals a day. We've got room service. So like just things like that, where it's not really a big concern as far as our behavior, what's been happening as far as what they've done for us and everything else. They have taken care of us. They've brought some activity things and that would appeal to some people and things of that nature. So the experience has not been that bad. So I don't have any concerns at this end. And once they made the knowledge known and we were all told what we had to do, it appears everyone has been doing that. So it's not something that I really had any concern over. I was concerned over the reports about the lack of concern in the administration and thinking that as outsiders, we would be the last ones to be dealt with. Not sure if that's still not the case.
That was Ian Graylish. He's a Canadian currently on board the Grand Princess.